Halloween is here, and so are the three scariest things that could happen to the Rays in 2026.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into the Locked On Rays podcast. Locked On Rays is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And we are Kevin and Ulysses.
And we are lifelong Rays fans who have been podcasting about the Tampa Bay Rays since 2019.
Later on today's Halloween special show, the Rays not being able to get out of the Wander deal is a scary thought. In a few minutes, there is a possibility of the Rays beginning the 2026 season on a cold streak. But to start, why trading key veteran pieces would be a bad move for the Rays.
And we're going to talk about all of that thanks to FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the app today. Kevin, before we give you guys a segment one takeaway, we got to say two things before that, Kevin. Number one.
Yes, one of those things, this is a Halloween special show, so we're talking scary thoughts in coordination with the Tampa Bay Rays. One thing we are not going to mention is the stadium situation because we are under the presumption that that will get all worked out. That is too scary to even focus on this Halloween episode.
Exactly. And the second thing that we're not taking into consideration in the scary thought category for this episode is injuries.
Correct.
We are not even going to be putting that thought out there because we root for this team and we root for these human beings and we don't want to put that out there. So no injuries, no stadium. So, okay, what's the worst thing that could... Okay, the scariest thought, Kevin, let's start it off. Trading veteran players. 2 out of 3 would be detrimental to the start of the season. And those 3 players are Yandy Diaz, Brendan Lowe, and Pete Fairbanks. Any combination, 2 out of 3 of those guys would literally signal only negative things for the 2026 season.
Yeah, it would essentially signal a rebuild and the idea or the thought process that the Rays aren't really focused on competing all that much in 2026 and 2027. Not to say that the team, even with all those guys, is a playoff team, but you got much better shot at the apple with those 3 guys in tow, or 2 of those 3 guys in tow for 2026. But you need some sort of motivation and boost to this fan base, especially as you're going back into the trop in 2026. And you have to have some help in coordination with Junior Caminero. You can't expect Junior Caminero to carry the team entirely. And these 3 players are just so valuable to the core that trading 2 of 3, quite frankly, at this juncture is unconscionable.
And if you're a Rays fan who craves offensive production, Junior Caminero has to have protection. And Brendan Lowe, Yandy Diaz could provide that. Can Jonathan Aranda do that? Yes, but the problem is you got to have a little bit more depth in the lineup. Yandy Diaz alongside Brendan Lowe, alongside Junior Caminero, alongside Jonathan Aranda. Now you're thinking, okay, now there's something here in this offense. If the 2 out of 3 is Brendan Lowe and Yandy Diaz, forget about it. Then that depth is nowhere to be found. And I know you could be listening to this and hitting that like button and hitting the subscribe button if you haven't and saying, look, bro, enough of Yandy Diaz, okay? I want to see Big Bob Seymour. And I would tell you, I want to see Bob Seymour as well, but not by trading Yandy Diaz. I don't think Big Bob Seymour is ready to just take a starting job in DH. Also, I don't think it would be very beneficial for a guy who's coming from AAA to just be a DH and sometimes a first baseman. Like, you need to play the field, man.
And also, I don't think Bob Seymour will ever be as good as Yandy Diaz. Even in Yandy Diaz's worst year, I don't know if Bob Seymour can provide what Yandy can provide. Yeah, maybe he might bop a few more homers pound for pound, but Yandy Diaz is a pretty special character. He's a guy that gets MVP votes. Is Bob Seymour ever going to get MVP votes as a major leaguer? Probably not. The odds.
He got a batting title. He got a batting title. He's a Silver Slugger nominee. This is a guy who's a life changer. And then you got Brendan Lowe, a dude that can bop you 39 or 31 in a given season if he stays healthy. So you're telling me that you're going to trade that guy off?
Right. Yeah. And the thing is, like, we've talked about Pete Fairbanks earlier this week, and you need to definitely keep him as part of the bullpen core. But your point is valid about Junior Caminero needing some protection. I mean, if Lowe and or Yandy were to go in 2026, I mean, if you're an opposing team, you might as well just walk Junior Caminero, treat him like Shohei Ohtani, treat him like Barry Bonds at that point. Don't even, circle his name on the lineup card and say, we are not letting this guy beat us. If Jonathan Aranda and Chandler Simpson and Jake Mangum want to beat us, so be it. But Junior, you're not getting your shots at us.
And what would happen there is, if you don't have protection for Junior, what would happen to his development? Now he's trying to do too much. He would expand the zone. Now the swing path would go all out of sorts. Now he's striking out way more than he does. It then turns mental into, why am I not having the same kind of production that I had last year? And now you've created a whole job because you didn't want to pay $11 million to these guys.
Yeah. And I think too, with like Yandy, for example, I mean, Junior and Yandy can communicate in Spanish effectively to one another. I still think there's some things to learn about hitting from Yandy Diaz. Look, Junior has the power thing, no doubt about it. But as far as pitch selection and, when to take a walk, I think Yandy can teach a thing or two still to him. So I think that extra year or two of being able to rub shoulders with him is important. And the other thing that, is a scary situation tied into this, you trade 2 or 3 of those guys. Yes, you would hope that you get a major haul and a major return, but there's also a chance that you trade those guys and the guys that you get in return don't wind up doing anything or being all that productive, whether it's simply prospects or guys that are quote unquote major league ready. I mean, will the haul in return replicate the value plus the money that you would save? I mean, at the end of the day, these guys are as bang for the buck as you can get for what they provide on a major league playing field.
Exactly. And, these prospects that are like, oh, well, we got this guy or this other guy for Yandy and for Lowe or for Pete Fairbanks. Guys, Blake Snell deal. I'm just like, no matter how good all those top 100 prospects are, not all of them are going to pan out, or else MLB would have 5,000 players if all the prospects panned out. It doesn't. It has 700. All right. Yeah. So this would be a very scary thought going into the 2026 season, not having 2 out of 3 between Yandy, Pete, and Lowe. And I'll say this. You mentioned something about butts and seats. You're essentially opening a stadium once again. Yes, It's not a new one, but it almost might as well be, okay? You're going to go back to the Trop. You are a new ownership. You got to get goodwill in there, and you're going to trade 2 out of 3. It wouldn't make sense, and that's why it's a scary thought.
Yeah, you got to have some players, some notable players that you can hang on the banners and light poles. I mean, it can't just be Junior Caminero
everywhere,
repeated everywhere. I mean, yes, he's got to be a part of the contingent there, but I mean, I don't even know if you can put Shane McClanahan up there due to his injury. So exactly. I feel like, yes, there is some added marketing and branding value with having these players around. And yes, you just hope that, sure, there'll be a day where these guys won't be on the roster, but you hope that if and when that trade is made, that you get something more than Francisco Mejia or Luis Patino or Cole Wilcox or Blake Hunt. Let's just say this. I don't need any more low A or high A prospects. I need guys that can produce in a big league uniform.
Again, if this offense couldn't get it done in 2025, which wasn't a bad offense, like it was almost cool to watch, at times, and productive. Imagine without any of these 2 guys in the lineup, that would be a rough 2026. So let's move on to another scary thought, which would be a freezing cold April with 2011 vibes. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement of this sports season. Whether you're following the NFL, NBA, or both, there's no better time to jump in on the action, because if you haven't tried it yet, Prize Picks is the simplest way to play. You just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats, and if you get them right, guess what? Green Skittles go your way. You win. It takes less than 60 seconds to make your lineup, and you can play anywhere Prize Picks operates. So download the Prize Picks app today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Thank you so much for joining us at Locked On Rays, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Second scary thought, Kevin. And you know what? I'm going to whisper it. So listen closely. That's a cold wind, by the way. That's cold wind. Starting the season 0-9 in a cold road trip would be basically a nail in the coffin, because we have talked about how the schedule for 2026 is nonstop grinding. I mean, we talked about the long road trip in August. We've talked about the divisional and overall league powerful rivals that they're going to be facing in September. And you're also going to be starting the season in a very cold environment against St. Louis, Milwaukee, and Minnesota. 9 games. If the Rays start, it's cold, and the guys just came from Port Charlotte, and they're not really liking the cold weather. I don't think Yandy Diaz, for example, is a cold weather kind of guy.
Yes. I mean, it's one of those things where
I don't think Taylor Simpson is the dynamicness doesn't really play well in cold weather. It would be a detriment for the 2026 season to start like that.
It sure would indeed. And that does have me concerned, is opening the season in 3 cold cities and what that could mean. I mean, 0-9, of course, would be the worst case scenario, but 1-8 isn't that great either. 2-7 isn't that great. 3-6 isn't that great. And in all 3 of those, or all 4 of those, whatever the situation is, it certainly could happen, because like you said, going from Port Charlotte to the cold weather, the Rays traditionally, I don't think like playing in the cold weather or perform very well in the cold weather, at least early on in the season. And I mean, the coldest we really want to get is 72 degrees with air conditioning.
Yeah.
And, the other challenge of that is, because the entire schedule is a grind, and because you are in the big bad AL East, I mean, it's not like the season is over, but you can pretty much kiss any playoff dreams goodbye if you start the season 0-9, especially with a young roster that is still, trying to build confidence and motivation and find their footing. It's hard to get, I would think it would be hard to get out of and remove a deep hole like that. And, it just in general, with being in the cold weather, like the risk of injury, the lack of homers. I mean, there's a myriad of issues that can spark up by starting the season in St. Louis and then Milwaukee and then Minnesota.
Look at the guys that you could utilize there. Mangum, Simpson, Walls, Palacios, De Luca. It just wouldn't work with their speed in this kind of weather. So then you're already kind of a little bit playing behind the 8 ball, Kev. And you guys, when you're coming from, Mexico or Cuba, Puerto Rico,
Dominican Republic,
it's going to be very difficult to be playing in St. Louis in April, man. I think it's just going, and we've seen it. Remember when Willy Adames would just basically go all out on the cold weather gear where the only thing you could see was his eyes. We all remember that, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't fun for them.
And you rub
It's not that
Vaseline on your body, and if you make contact or run, you just don't feel comfortable. Quite frankly, I don't think you want to be out there.
right.
Like, you are
don't.
earning your money in those conditions.
Exactly. So then you're also now away from home, and the crowds usually in April are going to be pretty big. It's not July, so they're going to be against you. It's opening day. People sell out opening day. It's a scary thought to think that the Rays are starting in cold weather.
Remind me, what was the year that the Rays started? What was it? 1-6, 1-7?
They started 2011, 1-7. Now, we all know 2011 ended up being a fantastic year. Game 162. Never forget, baby. Never forget. However, that's an outlier, people.
Yeah, that's something that documentaries are made from and books are written from. And there's a key denominator in there, Evan Longoria, that is not part of the 2026 roster.
Exactly. And a Dan Johnson moment, like, for God's sakes, people. So,
that can happen once every 50 years, not every 15 years.
Right. So a very scary thought, that opening road trip to be starting in that cold weather, man. That's just not very optimal.
Yeah. Not to put bad vibes out there, but it is a possibility that
it's a Halloween episode. We got to get a little bit scary. Come on, just a little bit, man.
Another scary thought is the Rays have yet to hear on the finality of their biggest financial fiasco.
The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the game or you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. And you know what? You can always use them as green Skittles on FanDuel. That's always a lot of fun. And right now, FanDuel is giving you customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. You heard that right. $300 in bonus bets to new customers when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com right now to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Thank you for listening to the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We appreciate it. Another scary thought. Oh boy, this is a scary scene. If the Rays cannot get out of the Wander Franco contract, it is crazy to believe that this situation is still ongoing and doesn't yet have finality or a resolution. And the unfortunate part of it is, as time goes on, the salary or money owed to Wander Franco keeps increasing. By my account, he is expected to be due $15 million in change in 2026 for probably not giving you a single at-bat or a single inning in the field for the Tampa Bay Rays.
$15,454,545. That's how many people at least do not like this guy. Because when we looked at this contract, Kevin, we were thinking, oh man, imagine when he's making 15 mil. Oh man, he's going to be crazy.
He'll be a 7, 8, 9 more player. He probably has an MVP to his name. He's made an all-star appearance every year. He's well on his way to becoming a Hall of Famer.
And now we're thinking, can this please end? Can this please end? Because let's not forget, around September, there would be a decision on the MLB investigation. That didn't happen. We knew that it usually takes around 3 months after a verdict on the court. We did our math. June to September. Okay. September has gone and passed and gone away. October. Wait, this is a Halloween episode. We haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
Boom, gone. I know the World Series is happening. So if there's a finality to it, maybe they hold that until the World Series is done. But we gotta know, man. We gotta move on from this guy. We gotta just understand what is going to be owed, if anything. Hopefully, nothing, because we know that this is an issue of why some guys are not getting extended, aka Junior Caminero. And Junior Caminero is going to get expensive by the second. Okay, this guy is doing the MLB Español for on the field interviews. He's doing Junior Caminero is the player doing them. In English is Vinny Pasquantino and Lawrence Butler. Junior Caminero is doing the Spanish interviews, man. So like this guy's getting his face out there. He's becoming important around the league. Why wouldn't you after hitting 40 plus home runs?
Yes.
It's just a scary thought if this doesn't get solved and now we're hanging on our heads with this albatross contract.
Yeah, not just Junior Caminero, but if we go back to the first segment, this could make that scary situation a reality where you have to eat the $15 million in change for this upcoming year and maybe future years as well, what the salary numbers jump up to. The Rays might have no choice but to say, man, we can't afford to keep Pete Fairbanks and Yandy Diaz, or we can't afford to keep Brandon Lowe and Pete Fairbanks. Like that could really change their hands. Like, hey, it sucks, but where it's $15 million of dead money to a guy who is not giving us anything except bad press and bad PR. So in that case, you hope that MLB at some point will step in and do the right thing and put him on the domestic violence, sexual assault, child abuse policy, and that would be cause for the Rays to get out from underneath that contract. But as of today, October 31st, we don't totally know that. And I mean, I guess the other situation or possibility is trade him and his salary to, I don't know, the Rockies or somebody, but who's going to take him? Like
no one wants that. No one wants that. So now you're talking, yes, have the Rays been able to stop the payment? Like they didn't pay anything for him in 2025 and part of 2024. We know that. We get it. The scary episode, Halloween special. Come on, give it to us. The thing is, if by some 0.0000001% chance this actually gets overturned, this would be horrible because the U.S. government wouldn't allow him a visa. No. And then somehow MLB just goes, no, you still have to pay him. Like it would not happen. It would not happen. But it's a scary thought if it were.
It is a scary thought indeed. And hopefully none of the three situations that we talked about come to fruition. Hopefully we enter 2026 with Pete Fairbanks, Yandy Diaz, and Brandon Lowe. Hopefully the Rays don't start 0-9 to begin the 2026 season. And hopefully the Rays don't have to pay Wander Franco for this year and can get out of the contract entirely and use that money for Junior Caminero and maybe somebody else.
There you go. And to finalize this show, please drop it down in the comments. What is the scariest thought that could happen to the Rays in 2026? But you have to play along with us. Number 1, no stadium talk. Yes. Number 2, no injuries. Go. Have some fun in the comment box. It's a Halloween special show. Hope you guys enjoyed it. This is a time where we get to be creative, people. Yes, exactly. Not a lot of news is breaking. So if you want to see some of these episodes where we can think a little bit outside the box, also drop it down in the comments as always.
Yes, let us know. I mean, I guess, just as an example, a sophomore slump. I guess it wouldn't really be a sophomore slump, but full second year, I guess, of Junior Caminero just really struggling in 2026. I don't foresee that happening, but it wouldn't be the craziest thought in the world. So like Ulises said, no injuries, no stadium talk, because we know that the Rays aren't going to have any injuries this season, right? We're going to be zero healthy from game 1 to game 162 and deep into the playoffs when we beat the Dodgers in the World Series in 2026. And then stadium will be somewhere in Ybor City or the fairgrounds. So there it is right there. We do hope you all have a wonderful Halloween and hopefully no nightmares from this episode of scary thoughts and scary situations. Hope you all enjoy, and we will talk to you next week.